Hey, what is going on guys? VBoy Gamer to the T here, and welcome to something that I've never kind of judged a game before it's gonna come out, and basically, well, it's kind of a wish list of what I would like to see in FIFA 13, and also a review of what we've kind of seen so far. Now, this is going to be the career mode part of it, so yes, yeah, that's about it really, guys. And anyway, let's get into the first one. So my first one is, guys, and I actually have all of this written down. Now, I'm going to say realistic transfers. Now, personally, right, realistic transfers. Now, when I'm saying this, guys, I mean, on FIFA 13, every I don't know why, but even in the career mode that I'm doing, now I'm going to take this by example. Brian Ruiz, who's from Fulham, centre attacking midfielder, of course his potential goes up to about 85, 80 something, around that region. And every single time I've played the career mode, now Brian Ruiz has always gone to Arsenal. Not kidding you. He has always gone to Arsenal. And this is what annoys me the hell out of... This is what annoys me to hell. Because, I mean, they should surely... EA don't... I mean, personally, they must just plan the transfers for each season. Personally, I think that should be changed. Now, I don't know how the hell they're going to change that, but it just seems so fixed. It seems so fixed, and I need to change that. I really would like to see better transfers. Maybe even a club. I know, of course, like you see clubs that are really like low down the order have takeovers, and then they bring in some big names. But it always seems so fixed every single time, and I mean, I think they do need to change that a bit. And even maybe a surprise boost, maybe like say I don't know, maybe Scott Parker to, I'll say Leeds randomly, because for maybe like a free agent if when he gets too old, something like that. You know, that'd be good. I mean, I support Leeds and everything, but yeah, I mean that would be good to see, and I'd like to see that especially in the career mode for FIFA 14. And also for the second one, guys, better growth. The better growth for being realistic. Now, what I mean by this is, now if they're playing really well, really well, and they're doing extremely well, and their form has been absolutely at the peak, and you want to play them over and over again each time that month, and of course it gets judged by the month, and of course the squad report comes out every single month, and of the growth. Now, of course, with better growth, I think personally, if you're at the peak of your form, and your peak of your form is absolutely excellent, you need, personally, to be boosted up about maybe +2, +3, instead of just +1. Now, I've seen it go up +2 before, but never +3. And, you know, I think you overall should go up by nearly 3 or 4 at the most, if you're at the peak of your form. Now, obviously, you have a rating that you can only get to, say, like 85, I think, for scouts and stuff, scouting players. But I think that personally should be happening, and you know, it should be a bit more realistic in my opinion. For the third one, guys, I'm going to choose a more in-depth scouting system. Now, I'm going to show you a quick picture, and I think this is so much better now, guys. If you hear my mouse, apologies. But this picture right here, now I'm saying this picture right here is going to be the new scouting system. Now, of course, when I look at this, of course, you can tell it's a scout report, and I can tell straight away it is young players. Now, of course, I probably looked for a region between the region about 20 or 24, because, of course, Sebastian Quartes is on there. But I really didn't understand that the whole recent thing. Now, of course, this is players like, of course, from well, who are actually playing football these days. But I don't know if it's the whole youth system's maybe gonna scrap that. But I mean, it looks more like centre backs and stuff that he's searching for. But I mean, I like the look of this. When I'm seeing this now, I'm seeing this and I'm thinking this is looking a good, you know. Well, of course, it just looks good, and that's all I can really say. And you know, the way, of course, they judged his passing ability, his shooting ability, his defending, mentality, and athleticism. I mean, that looks all good to me, and it looks a realistic scout report. And personally, It even says like his dribbling's like, and of course a winger. I mean, that personally, I think that is a great scout report. When I look at that, I think, you know, it doesn't even say his actual overall rating for each thing. And of course, when you get more into scouting, you'll actually know their better rating. Now that's kind of what I really want to see, and this looks more realistic. Personally, I really like the look of this so far, and I'm happy EA have finally sorted this out. So personally, when I look at this picture, I'm thinking they have gone more in depth with the scouting system for real life players, and I'm pleased. Thanks EA. Alright, on to the fourth one now, guys. I'm going to say reserve youth squad. Personally, right, I think you should find out about the players in your youth squad. You should find out like what position they should have more of a position role in. I mean, when of course you're in the youth squad, of course there's a bit of a problem, and also reserves. You should be able to find out, you know, how they're playing, how they're doing, you know, of course, and there should be game time for them. And of course, when they're sat in the reserves, they aren't doing anything, you know, of course, they don't play. Now, I think there should be a reserve team and a youth team and the squad. And of course, this does mean more working to career mode, definitely. But I think it should be done. And, I mean, it would change the game totally, and I think it would make the game so much better. I mean, honestly, it would change the game, and honestly, I would not stop playing FIFA if there was, honestly, you could play and find out how they've been doing in the reserve teams, and if they're scoring goals and stuff. Because if they are, shove them into the first team if they're doing well, if they're in good form. Of course, I think that would be a brilliant thing as well, because of course the squad report will go up, not just randomly, but you know, I mean, even going out on loan and stuff, you know, it should go up a bit more than what it is. But I mean, that would be the big highlight for me if that actually happened, and I'd be really pleased. Also, now I'm moving on to the other one, guys, and that is also working on particular areas for players in training. And now what do I mean by this? I mean working on, like, of course, if you want to work on, I mean, this is actually going to be training here, and if you want to work in a particular area. Now what I mean by the particular areas, maybe even set pieces, corners, as a team player. Also, I think if you're not actually controlling this training, but if you're going to be training, of course, maybe even like, you know, doing a sprint training or something like that on certain players. Also, if you want to get free kick practicing for a certain player for set pieces, you should be able to do that. Now, of course, not actually be at the training ground, not that realistic, but I mean, like, if you want to go and look at the training, or maybe even calendar, and work on some training areas for one particular player, that is how I would like to see it. Also, guys, I would like to see real press conferences. Now, of course, I've heard P.S actually do this, and I've had a lot of comments actually saying P.S actually do this. I mean, I saw it said, and I mean, personally, I think you should have more an in-depth press conference. Now, you see the press these days. I mean, honestly, the amount of questions they get about football and stuff, it's crazy. I find it absolutely mental that some of them even actually have the guts to even come out and say that to some of the managers. I mean, I remember a few, and I think, you know, you should have more in-depth questions. Now, of course, you kind of do have a press conference, but all you're really doing is praising your team. I mean, that's all I do is praise my team and try and boost them up, or maybe even try and give them a bit of boosting up in the press conference, just to get the morale boosted and stuff, and try and help them out. But personally, the press conferences thing is just pointless at the moment. I think they need to scrap that, and if anything, they're gonna have to either work on it for a few years and put a real life press conference, and that will be a brilliant idea personally for a year. And honestly, people won't be off the game if of course if that happened, personally, I think. Also, right, I'm bringing back something else here, guys. If you guys remember FIFA 10, you could actually make the stadium bigger. Now, of course, right, there's the chairman, and the chairman sorts all that out, and you had all your bars and stuff. Of course, with the staff, you could upgrade your staff, you could upgrade the goalkeeping coaches, you could upgrade everything. And that, honestly, I loved having that there. I really did. And the fact that they took that away, honestly, I was distraught when they took that away. The fact that you could upgrade all of that stuff, and it was absolutely brilliant. And you know, you can make stadiums bigger. It was brilliant, you know. And of course, I mean, the stadium's bigger is all to do with the chairman now and these days. It's got nothing to do with the manager, but maybe even the staff work. That was absolutely brilliant, that. So I think they should even bring that back. That was absolutely brilliant. So that'll be one of my FIFA 14 wish lists to see. Also, guys, this is another one. I've got so many. But aged players, I think they retire too quick. Okay, I'm going to take this by example. I did a Tottenham career mode. In fact, I was at Leeds and I joined Tottenham to try and help them out because they were in danger of relegation and they had a really good squad. And, of course, I found Tom Huddleston and still in the squad. And he was still in overalls of 80 and I decided to start playing him and he absolutely was fantastic. He was in the peak of his form and then at the age of 29 or 30, something like that, he retired. A midfielder retired at 30 years old. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That, I mean, they should at least retire 35 maximum, I think. Minimum, sorry. Because, I mean, if you're 34 or 30, maybe like someone like Brad Friedel, they could just retire in that first season, and I think that's pretty bad. So personally, I think they need to bring something like that into it, so you can have aged players for a little bit longer, and they don't retire so quickly. Or if they're having a brilliant season, a bit like Paul Scholes kind of did, you know, maybe if they come, maybe if they have such a good season and really enjoying playing, then of course give them they should be able to just come back and well, not come back, but just not retire. They think, you know, so I think that should happen first. And this is the last one now, guys. Now I've actually played the Wii version of FIFA and it actually does have this, but I think before each game, of course, when you're a manager and you're working on areas, of course, with the team, you always scout the main players, the main oppositions. Now, personally, I'm going to take this by example. I think, and of course, this is a former Leeds player, but I'm going to take in Norwich by example. Now, you take out, the scout the main players, and I mean, one player who absolutely stands out in that Norwich team, and personally, I think, is Robert Snodgrass, and he really does stand out. And of course, you want to try and scout him out. And of course, if he's a really main problem, get a man marking system on him. Get him man marked and cause problems in their areas where they want to try and get forward. I think that would be brilliant because, of course, when you scout their teams, and you should be able to go send a scout out to scout the teams, that would be brilliant. I think, you know, it adds a totally different dimension to career mode as well. And I mean, this is proper full-on manager mode as well, which is absolutely great. But this is now the last thing now, guys, and this is it now. This is, as soon as I've done this, I'm going to end it. But I saw this picture as well, and while I was, of course, looking at career mode stuff, and I was really surprised. I mean, of course, when you look at this, you're thinking, Ultimate Team. That's what I'm thinking straight away. Now, I like the look of this, I have to admit. I mean, of course, this is the squad, and of course, you've got your international squad selection kit numbers. You've got it, and of course, you've got this whole bar system here. Now, you see the green bars, I'm guessing that is going to be form, or I'm not too sure, but I'm going to put maybe a bet on that form. I'm not too sure why, but I'm not going to put a guess on it, but I'm going to put that down as form. And it's just their morale, or it's even morale actually. But the arrow, I'm either going to put the arrows down that either is how they want to get forward, or I'm gonna put that as form. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna trying to put a bet on it, but I'm gonna say that at the moment, no, guys. But for now, we're gonna go, guys. I mean, look at the whole. I'm looking at this whole system and I'm thinking it looks good. It looks fresh. It looks new. It's got a new dimension yet again. I mean, I'm in the office there. It's notifying you that maybe transfers are going on, youth squad system, and overall season as well. I mean, I like the look of it, you know. So I'm really happy with the way this is looking now. So anyway, guys, but I hope you all enjoyed this FIFA 14 wishlist for career mode. I may have an Ultimate Team one coming out soon, hopefully. We'll see though. And you know, thank you very much, guys. Anyway, for now, I will see you guys later.